Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brent Musburger along with Bill Raftery. Let's get right to it. The man was an ex-coach. How do you stop Michael Jordan?
Obviously, Brent, you haven't seen me coach. If I were guarding him, I'd say switch or help. There's not much you can do with him. You have to make him go east to west in the fast break. He's good on the perimeter, but he's great when he penetrates.
You know, Bill, some folks have said to me, some basketball people, that he's the greatest to ever play the game. What do you think about that?
Elgin Baylor reminds me a little bit of Michael, but I've never seen anybody do so many things as well as Michael Jordan.
Now, what about this Detroit Piston team? What are their strengths coming into this series?
Well, physically, I think, and the intimidating factor on defense, I think the biggest problem, Brent, for them is the staleness. They're not into the strain of the playoffs, that feel, that banging that really helps you at this time of the year.
Okay, well, Leslie Visser has also joined us this afternoon. She has been talking to the Bull coaching staff. Leslie, what do they say about today's game?
Brent, you know, not many people are giving the Bulls much of a chance to survive this series, but I just spoke with Coach Doug Collins, and he said the mood of the team is optimistic. He said he told his players that the key thing here today is that they can't lose their composure. They can't be distracted by the physical nature of the Detroit Pistons. He also reminded them that they stole Game 1 against both Cleveland and New York, and that changed the complexion of those series. So it's Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals coming up on CBS.
The starting lineups today for the Chicago Bulls, it'll be Pippen, Grant, Cartwright, Jordan, and Hodges. And for Detroit, it'll be Aguirre, Lambier, Mahorn, Thomas, and Dumars.
Well, the surprise, of course, Pippen on Aguirre, and of course Lambier able to move away from the basket. That matchup interesting as well.
Cartwright and Mahorn. And it's controlled by the Pistons. Dumars will work in that backcourt with Thomas. And notice right away that Isaiah does not have any wrap protecting that broken bone on the left hand. They took it off during practice this week, and Isaiah said, I'm going to try and see how it feels. So here he is in the opening moments. Dumars with the first shot. Tapped back by Mahorn.
Mahorn able to carve out some area, Brent, establish some room for himself.
The Piston interior defense, as tough as it gets in the NBA. Jordan from the perimeter, up over the top, misses his first shot. Thomas can't get it. Grant has it for the Bulls.
You'd rather Michael to shoot outside. It's that penetration that causes problems.
They've turned it over on a bad pass.
Early in the game, the half-court set, essential for the Pistons. They must control the tempo and get good shots so the Bulls can't run.
Way short. Jump ball is the ball. Bill Davidson, the owner of the Detroit Pistons, sitting just beyond the baseline underneath the basket.
Of course, he built the palace. I think Isaiah helped them.
The house that Isaiah built. Main man Jordan. And Pippen. Yanked down by Lambier. What was it Lambier came over and asked you just before we went on the air?
I wanted to know if Pippen was suspended or fined. He does not forget, that boy.
And of course, Pippen was kicked out of Game 6 against the New York Knicks when he and Kenny Walker tangled underneath the basket, and Lambier's point was, hey, the league would have fined me or suspended me already. Again, Aguirre short, and the Pistons showing some rustiness here in the early moments with their shooting.
Well, again, the ability to run their half-court set. They have to execute, isolate.
They get it inside, and Horn's alone. Cartwright was in front, and there was no rotation down low to help out.
You don't want to gamble on Rick Mahorn. Make him turn around and shoot the jumper. Not a good play by Bill Cartwright.
Jordan gives it up, and it's Hodges' three. Jordan going for the rebound, and there was a foul called against Lambier.
The one area that Jordan impresses me the most is when he gets up in the air and bails out with his pass. He finds somebody. They spot up for the threes, and that's become a great weapon for Chicago.
Get low to Pippen on the turnaround. Pippen maturing into a fine NBA player. We talk so much about Michael Jordan, and I think that goes for everybody who covers the NBA. I think there's a tendency perhaps to underrate the rest of this Bull cast. I think this is an emerging team that may be a little bit better as a group than people realize. Dumars comes out to Aguirre. Aguirre cut off from the baseline. Now, Adrian Dantley used to kill Chicago. They are somewhat more comfortable facing a Piston lineup, which includes this man, Mark Aguirre.
There's one of the subtle adjustments, trying to step in and stop the fast break in the backcourt.
Dantley used to feast at the free throw line. The Pistons swept Chicago this year in their 6 meetings. But only in the last 2 did Jordan play any point guard, as Dumars has it swatted away and out of bounds. That was Grant who knocked the ball out of bounds. It'll be Detroit's ball with 5 seconds on the shot clock.
You may have seen the help out, though. Michael Jordan, nobody there earlier. He made sure that time.
Thomas, Jordan taking him, and Thomas, as the shot clock is expiring, popped up a miss, and it goes over on the foul against Dumars, his first. The dapper head coach of the Detroit Pistons, Chuck Daly, like all coaches, always concerned, always worried. The world is going to come to an end tomorrow.
Well, he's got a double concern, what to wear each day, as well as preparing his team.
Hodges bangs that deuce in.
The pick and roll, a little help, and they just find people now with Pippen and Hodges able to shoot it deep.
Chicago 2 of 5, Detroit only 2 of 8. And 2 of 8 indicates shooting rustiness against defensive pressure like this. Another turnover. Jordan now finds Hodges left baseline, and Grant digs out the rebound. The Bulls could be playing on adrenaline right now. The factor to watch in this game is fatigue late in the second half after that grueling 6-game series. This pace right now sort of works to their favor. Detroit, of course, preferred the half-court attack against Milwaukee. And on the layup, Jordan gives Chicago the lead.
One of their favorite plays, the pick and roll. Everybody spreads. He's able to turn the corner.
Crowd quiet here in Auburn Hills in the early moments of this first game of the Eastern Conference Championship. Pistons standing around quite a bit on offense. Not quite in their rhythm yet. Now here's Mahorn out at the top. Won't go in, and Pippen's got it off, and here comes Jordan. If the Bulls can build a lead, they might be able to steal the first one as they did in the Garden. Great reverse layup that time by Pippen, who is a fine emerging NBA player.
Well, you mentioned earlier, you forget how good the other players are because Michael Jordan's level of performance is so high. ISO.
And an illegal defense is the call. That's the first warning against Chicago. So on the next call against the Bulls and Doug Collins, then the Pistons would move up and shoot the technical free throw. So there is Doug Collins, his 3rd year as coach of the Chicago Bulls, and it looks to me like he may have aged 6.
Well, he used to pal around with Chuck Daly when they were with the Sixers learning the game, so he's had a pretty good mentor.
Mahorn, and Chicago is off on an impressive 8-0 run right now, building a lead of 8-4. Grant with that jump shot's off. Long rebound run down by Hodges, and here's the king. That's a 3.
Doug said last night they're going to open it up and take the threes. They're a very loose team. They don't feel as much pressure this afternoon.
Daly will take a 20-second timeout. Daly will try to, now he's going to go for the full timeout. So we will take a break. It's 11-4, Chicago with the lead over Detroit. Chicago with an early lead over Detroit, 11-4. The Bulls have hit 5 of 10 from the field, and the rusty Pistons only 2 of 10. We say rusty, that's relative to basketball games. They've had a 5-day layoff, and it has showed Bill in their shooting. They've missed their last 5.
And on defensive end, too, you notice the adjustments aren't as quick. They really isolate situations in practice and on tape so that the defense can adjust in the fast tempo of the game. And right now, Detroit not able to cope with the pick and roll particularly, and the ability of Michael Jordan to turn the corner and dish to the spotted up players.
We have 6.5 minutes left here in the opening period, and Rick Mahorn has scored both the Pistons baskets, and that tells you all you need to know.
Not an offensive threat.
Here's Dumars trying to end that. Wanted Mahorn. They have turned it over again, and now Chicago comes back down. And it'll be Hodges with the three. 14-4. Chicago builds a 10-point lead in game one, and the crowd perhaps sensing that their favorites need a little help here. Into Lambier for an easy layup.
The screener usually gets free. Right now, Brent, I think the fear of the fast break by the Pistons, they're going back and collapsing. They're not stepping up on the shooter, so it has hurt them.
Bench strength in this would seem to favor the Pistons. We'll have to see as it unfolds. And there's Mr. Bill Cartwright. He did such a fabulous job against his former team, the New York Knicks. He was perhaps the surprise player of that series, more than holding his own against Patrick Ewing. Lambier was doubled down low. They get it to Dumars. And now Aguirre will try to get in the scoring column. Still missing, and Pippen runs it down with a great rebound, reaching up over the top on Lambier, and they're going to call a foul on him. Lambier and Daly are furious. Now they're going to call the technical on him also.
Unfortunately for Lambier, he just gets caught in a disadvantaged position as his weight carries him on. Pippen has to be called the loss of ball. And the even-tempered Bill Lambier reacting. Oh, he's a happy guy, huh? Rod Thorne gets his share of correspondence from Bill Lambier, and this is the reason why. Rod, the head of officials in the NBA, and take that, you Notre Dame grad.
Well, the Bulls have hit 5 of their last 6, including 2 threes, to build this early lead.
They talk about Chicago with Michael at the point guard. Right now, he's the off guard, posting up.
Got his shot. They've got to get tighter on him than that. Of course, easy to say over here.
Well, it's like Chuck said, we got to keep him off the foul line, but how do you do that?
Dumars for an easy layup that would not stay down, but Mahorn on a putback. That's 6 points. In the opening period.
How about the shot Mahorn gave me walking out the floor?
Are you okay?
Jarred my teeth.
I feared for your ribs. Left-handed hook by Grant. And James Edwards, who had checked in, hooks up with Bill Cartwright, and the foul goes against Chicago.
A tribute to Bill Cartwright, that Knicks series. A wonderful guy, really never said anything bad about the people of New York, the team, or the management. It's fitting that he played so well against Patrick Ewing and the Knicks.
And he'll sit down now as Dave Corzine will check in. So Doug Collins shows his hand right away as far as Edwards is concerned. He's going to try Corzine against him and let Cartwright rest. Matchups in a long series are the essence of the NBA playoffs.
There's the mismatch.
And Hodges was trying to hold him out, and he fouled him.
The switch occurs. The Pistons are very good at recognizing and then taking the smaller man low.
Dumars with daylight will not stay down. He has not shot well in the playoffs for the Pistons so far, but they do have Vinnie Johnson. We'll see him before long. Jordan gliding for daylight and got it to fall.
All the rims are his rims. They like to make him go left.
Edwards, good outside shooter. In the backcourt scoring right now, the Bulls have outscored the Pistons and Isaiah Thomas 15-0. Corzine trying to do what Edwards had done, run down by Isaiah. Thomas trying to get it going here. Has it knocked out from behind, and a foul is going to be called against Grant.
Did you happen to notice, Brent, at the other end, the first time the Pistons came out and trapped on the pick and roll, forced Chicago into a long shot?
Going to have a timeout here. The Bulls will use a timeout. They lead Detroit 21-10.
The official Pistons Central Division.
Well, Bill, what have you got?
Well, the pick and roll, the favorite of most teams in the NBA. The high screen by Corzine. Here's where Chuck Daly doubles up on it, a little change from the norm. With this particular play, the double up takes Michael Jordan out of the play, but Corzine adds a new dimension, the ability to pop out a little bit like Jack Sikma, tee it up, he can make that shot, but this particular change enables the Pistons to go the other way.
The Bulls shooting 60% in the early going. The Pistons only 31%. Thomas has missed both his shots, and Dumars missing on all 4 of his. So the Pistons are not yet in the sink, and you wonder what happens to a team when they have time off. Well, they don't get hit like that when they're going to the basket during practice. So when they come out here, they need body contact. And once this game gets into a flow and we get into the second half, you're going to, in our opinion anyway, see an entirely different Piston team. Now, Doug hopes to play this on top and perhaps steal number 1 if he can. Off into the hands of Jordan. The Pistons were a heavy 9-point favorite in this game, but I'll tell you what, the Bulls look tough. That's a 3 now for Jordan, and 13 already.
They love to steal the first one. Doug Collins said last night, take the threes, we're going to be loose.
They're up 24-10. Mahorn underneath has been getting free. That's 8 points for Mahorn. So down low is where the Pistons have feasted so far in this game, but they've gotten nothing from the perimeter so far. Corzine wouldn't bounce for him. It's Grant underneath, got Edwards up in the air, and then the Pistons stole it. Isaiah over to Dumars. Into Aguirre.
Great look.
That's his first field goal of this Eastern Conference final.
Grant, an excellent offensive rebounder, didn't finish the play. The Pistons, an opportunity break team.
By making Jordan the point guard, you also give him the opportunity to rest on the floor. It was very important against the Knicks. Pippen on the drive, not there, but Corzine bangs it in.
That was all because of the double up on the pick and roll. Michael Jordan attracts attention. You have to spot up or create a passing lane.
We're about to test the Pistons' very talented and deep bench. Johnson and Rodman will soon check in on the next dead ball. And Rodman will try to change the tempo of this game. Edwards fouled on the turnaround, and he'll come to that free throw line. There's the microwave. And Paxson checks in for the Chicago Bulls. How about that jump shot that he had late against the Knicks? Like stabbing them. John Paxson out of Notre Dame.
Of course, you ran into his dad last week.
Down at Dayton.
Yeah, brother Jimmy. This lineup now, Vinnie Johnson known to heat it up, as noted. But the Pistons may be the only team in the league that substitute for defense. Rodman in there, it usually picks up their defensive tempo.
Vinnie Johnson's going to have difficulty with Michael Jordan. He picked him up. And when will Dennis Rodman switch over on Michael?
Chuck Daly said that he'll play the 3 guys on him. Dumars, Vinnie Johnson has played him, and of course Dennis Rodman. But I think right now they'll try and feel the flow of the game, take away some things from Michael Jordan, see what works, and then make that adjustment.
Jordan winning his 3rd straight scoring title, averaging better than 30 points a game as Charles Davis checks into the game. Led the league in minutes played. Missed that free throw, and Corzine with another putback at the offensive end.
Got to step to the man, you can't step to the rim.
And the Bulls jump out. Been a great year so far for Chicago sports teams, hasn't it? Chicago, the Bears making the final of the NFC. Edwards short. Blackhawks with a great year, and now the Bulls. Wonder if the Cubs and the White Sox can keep it up.
You don't mind that city doing well?
No, it's a great sports city.
You may have noticed there all the switching by the Bulls on any screens away. It's very disconcerting for an offensive team. You've got to stop and pin your man.
But if you listen, you can tell that the crowd has been kept out of it so far. Jordan on the run, found Corzine. What a great pass that was off a penetrating move.
It's the darndest thing, because when you go to help, he finds the right man. Staggered for VJ, Vinnie Johnson.
Let's see if he can get it, Raft. Here he is. short, and Jordan off with the rebound.
Good fence job there on the break.
Corzine again doing a fine job. For Corzine, that is 8 points already here in the opening period of a Bull explosion. 33 points against this defense.
Pistons, not a team that can afford to get way behind. They don't score quickly. They like to use the clock to get good shots.
So with the shot clock coming down, they moved out on Thomas. Isaiah against Jordan, missing. And the ball went out of bounds as the shot clock was going off. And Daly very concerned about this start by his favorite Pistons, as we have come to the end of the first period. And the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan are doing it again. 33-17, they lead the Pistons. Well, the Chicago Bulls with a 33-17 lead, and let's check in with Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Brent, during the timeout, Doug Collins told his team that he's really impressed with particularly the play of Corzine. He wants them to keep attacking, keep talking to each other. On the opposite end, Isaiah said his hand doesn't hurt him, even though he's yet to score. Brent?
And Leslie, there is the first coach of the Chicago Bulls on the left, Red Kerr, who works the radio back in Chicago with Jim Durham, fine broadcaster there on the right. Reds came up to us last night and says, tell all my fans to turn your audio down and listen to me.
What did he say on his tombstone? Born 19-something and died 19-something. I told you my feet hurt me. The Iron Man. What a great...
Johnny Red Kerr. What a great guy he is. Well, that tells you all you need to know about this one. Michael outscoring everybody that Daly can put out there in the backcourt. A great start for Chicago. Now they're going to try Vincent, Paxson, Davis. Davis missing the shot. Corzine, who is battling away underneath, and he has become a key man with 10 points already in the first half.
You know what amazes me? The Pistons are not trapping, but the spacing is drawing the defense away from the goal. Therefore, the Bulls able to offensive rebound.
This big lead allows Doug Collins to rest Michael Jordan for more minutes than he might have had to in the first half. This is playing directly into the Bulls' hands right now. Underneath to Davis, they're shooting layups. It is a horrible start for the Pistons. This crowd is going to grow a little restless soon.
The Scotch and water crowd better get into the game. That's what they're described as, very laid back. But the rotation that time, Isaiah got caught late coming back to help.
Isaiah looking to get on the scoreboard off the penetration, couldn't get anything to happen. And they're back out at the perimeter. And Isaiah traveled, trying to force the issue that time. The fourth turnover by the Pistons. They are just not into it at all.
And this is the defensive group right now on the floor. Little up-tempo. The ability to create some problems on the half-court sets for the Bulls.
Thomas sitting, so Dumars is out there with Rodman, Johnson, Sally, and Edwards, seeing if this combination can get it going. Now it is Paxson maneuvering. Back to Paxson, into Corzine, getting through Edwards. That time there was help as Sally and Rodman both moved to the attack. And now Sally and Rodman getting down the floor quickly. Dumars sends it back out to Johnson. This group showing a little more life if they can get the ball to fall. Now the Bulls on a bust out. Paxson has Vincent on the left and Davis trailing.
They have gotten away with a walk with the numbers. Chuck Daly upset, not getting back. They're generally a good shooting team. They take efficient shots and balance the floor.
Leslie better not go near that Piston huddle on this timeout.
So here's some things she should.
Yeah, right. Leslie, just stay by Chicago's end. We'll be right back.
Brent, you've got to see the floor to play the game. And having done many camps in the summer, you try and teach the kids to look up, get your eye off the basketball. Here, John Paxson, after he gets organized, spots the cutters. And the interesting thing here, Charles Davis ends up walking, but he complements the break, takes away the ability of the defense to just freeze in the middle and only play two people, how to play three.
Perhaps you see that black morning band there on Paxson's left. There's a better view of it there on the right. And that's in honor of the late Larry Fleischer, who did so much for the NBA Players Association. The average salary something around $10,000 to $15,000 when he took over. Now it's in the hundreds of thousands. And Rodman jams in a layup.
You think Doug Collins has seen enough of cutters taking it out of bounds and going to the basket? Craig Elo did the same thing for Cleveland.
Corzine wanted it in low. Lambeer now matched against him. Corzine turns it around and softly goes to the glass. There's a man whose playoff average was less than 4 points a game and has scored 12 already here this afternoon.
I was at Chicago Stadium when he was booed. Of course, they booed Dear Abby as well that day. So tough on Dave Corzine, but now he's one of the favorites.
Fouled. Vincent was helping Pippen on the double team.
What you lose when you don't play against opponents, other than the contact, is the execution. Chicago, in that flow of playoff spirit, able to react, take away the sets of the Pistons. They're going to have to set their people up and recognize better if they're going to get back in the ballgame.
Grant returning for the Bulls.
Because the Pistons late in the year went up to Seattle and got behind by 29-1. So they're capable of getting back into the basketball game.
Short with that free throw, but back to Rodman. Still down by 21 points here in the first half. 9 minutes to reduce that deficit. But they have turned it over.
Little pick and roll, and Johnson usually turns the corner and goes all the way. Well defended.
Davis, Vincent, Corzine, Paxton, and Jordan continuing to rest as Grant gives it up to Davis. Shot clock now down toward 5. They're going to need to go to work, and Grant forced one. He saw Collins. They get it back, and the shot clock has gone off.
Never hit the 10. Pretty good defensive set. That's more of the Piston type of defense.
Eight and a half minutes here in the first half. Johnson fouled by Paxson, and Michael will return. There's the man who scored 41% of the Bulls' points in that 5-game victory over Cleveland, including that dramatic jump shot, which moved them on to the next round against the New York Knicks.
As they're trying to find a little about Michael Jordan, I was talking to Brendan Malone, the Piston coach. He had him at 5-star camp in the summer when he was a kid and not a great player. And this year in Houston at the airport, Michael saw Brendan Malone, introduced him to his team as my 5-star coach when I was at high school. He's got a great flair and feel for people.
Isaiah continuing to watch as he struggled in the early going.
2-2-1 pressure.
Across to Grant. Shot clock again winding down. Back to Paxson, who runs into Lambeer, and Grant is there.
Pretty cut. Isolation with the big man. Nice back cut and a pretty bounce pass by Corzine.
43-22. Bulls over the Pistons. 8 minutes first half.
Then he hasn't been able to curl off that post.
Lambeer losing it. They are just not with it yet.
They're not the bad boys right now.
Only in the eyes of their coach.
Here's the trap of the double, something they adjusted for today.
The 3 is short, and it's Johnson off on the move. To Saleh, wanted Rodman, and Davis goes to tap the ball out of bounds.
Just not with it. Bill Lambeer sure-handed normally. That break there, Saleh trying to get the house in it with an alley-oop to Rodman.
Johnson They have shot horribly here in the first half.
And some open shots.
And down on the inside, away from the ball that time, came the call, and it is against Sally, his first personal. Isaiah returns.
It's about his time if they're going to do anything today. He's got to generate some offense on his own and yet play within his game.
The Detroit Pistons are shooting only 33% from the field. Only 22 points. 7:17 to go first half. Rodman all over Davis.
That Dumar's did a great job defending or denying Michael Jordan.
Davis, offensive foul. Isaiah seems to be somewhat lifeless. Doesn't seem to have that bubbly personality that you are so familiar with when you watch him play.
The smile missing.
Rattled out. Paxson on the move. He's off with the shot. Into the hands of Dumars. Sally and Thomas break low. Lambeer gets it to Sally. Cartwright watching him. Over the top, Jordan rebounding.
So many empty trips, Brent. Good shots.
Jordan sticking pretty much at the perimeter so far in this game. He'll wait to get to the free throw line and drive probably in the second half. Cartwright is short. Rodman winds up with the ball.
You forget about how well the Bulls play defense because Michael has so much flair on the offense. They are solid.
Separates him from a lot of great offensive players. He can also play the defense. So at the 6:13 mark, we've got a timeout. 43-22 Chicago. You know, when you think about Michael Jordan and what the Bulls are accomplishing, you must compare him with Wayne Gretzky and what he did not only in Edmonton, but when he moved down to Los Angeles to play for the Kings. You can ride a great star.
He better not move out of Chicago, though.
And the Bulls are doing with Jordan what a couple of hockey teams were able to do with Wayne Gretzky. He is that good, and everybody playing better alongside him.
Yeah, the analogy worthy because a lot of people say, well, Michael doesn't make the team better. He does. Extraordinary passer.
Good defender. Gave it up that time on the pass. Hodges, three.
Great story, huh? Confident shooter. His son Jamal had a serious illness, now fine at 3 years of age. And chatted today, so happy, starting to enjoy his playing with the Bulls.
Grant was trying to keep Aguirre out of the inside as Pippen returns. I'm going to go back to a point we made earlier. Mark Aguirre has not hurt the Chicago Bulls, and they said Adrian Dantley used to because he lived on that free throw line against them.
Well, they've taken him out. Now he goes for the three.
It is not there, and Lambeer comes up with a big offensive rebound and travel when he stepped back.
Chuck sitting on the bench and needs some offense, but the ability to get by people, now control yourself. He gets that head behind, sees things, create things. Now, he's great at the pass that leads to the pass that scores the goal.
46-22 and down to the 5-minute mark. Pippen's three. He didn't miss against the Knicks the other night from three-point land before he got tossed out.
Their whole philosophy looking for the threes has improved this team. It can play inside and out.
Dumars. Now Dumars gets that backcourt going with the field goal. Thomas still looking for his first. Johnson with 2 free throws, so they have been quiet from the perimeter with 3 extremely talented guards. Michael steps inside. Lambeer with rebounding position. Now Isaiah pounds it down. Missing. Jordan off with the rebound, and he's got it to Hodges. Pippen's in front of him. Cartwright trying to tap it back up, and he got it out high off the glass.
Great effort, and he was rewarded for running the floor. The big guy got down in the middle.
Are these Chicago Bulls a team of destiny? Thomas says, hold on. We're still a favorite here.
You mentioned the smile not there. You're right. He's got to get involved in this game.
Cartwright, that little fade away. Pippen tries to keep it in play. Knocked the ball out of bounds. Detroit's ball. If you're a Chicago Bull fan now watching in the Windy City, what went through your mind when Trent Tucker hit the three the other night and they called the foul?
I thought Doug was going to trade Hodges in the timeout after it.
You know, if you look at the tape over and over, it really looks like Ewing came out and knocked him into it like roughing the kicker call or something. Pistons can't get it to go, and Jordan now busts out and gets past Thomas. Comes inside.
Oh, is that beautiful? They got Grant after the missed goal. You mentioned Gretzky in the open floor. Tongue extended. You're in trouble when you see that on the defensive end. The only thing, he didn't have that soft kiss on the release.
Somewhere Mark Jackson might be biting his.
Presents himself so well to the basket. Of course, if you gamble, as the Pistons did at half court, he can turn it up a notch and blow by.
Well, you can say on behalf of the Pistons, it's a team effort.
All contributing to their demise.
Unbelievable. 26 points, 3.5 minutes to go. It's like in 5 days they forgot how to play the game.
Chuck will keep switching offensive sets till he comes up with something that's going to work.
Sort of like to hear his talk at halftime.
A little hide and seek on the far box with Jordan. Joe Dumars really works hard defensively.
Doesn't he? Davis on a runner. And then he battled for the rebound. Pistons ball, lead Aguirre.
And that's an assist for Joe Dumars. The job he did on Michael Jordan. He's going to try and deny him. Don't let Michael get a lot of possessions. You've got a chance against him.
The lead's at 20, and Doug says we better call a timeout and talk about it. It's getting dangerous. We'll be right back. Well, Doug needs some production from Michael right now. He is scoreless this quarter, 0 of 3 from the field, and they've made only 3 of their last 14 field goals, yet the lead remains at 20. If you're wondering about the NBA record for the fewest points in the first half, the Lakers hold it. They set it back in 1974 when they scored 28. So the Pistons certainly will break that here this afternoon. They're sitting on 28 right now, inside of 3. But they have not shot close to 40%. But their defense, at least keeping them in there now. And Jordan got Edwards up in the air, no foul, keeps it now on the dribble and hits Corzine. And they've turned it over, bust out Dumars. Here comes the crowd. So it'll be a 20.
Concentration. Right now, Doug will address that with his club. Chuck obviously needed some defensive pressure. They set the press up right away.
48-30. The Bulls have led this one all the way, and the Pistons now starting to show some life. Bill, what is it that makes this Detroit defense so good?
I think the way they break down the opponent's offense. They concentrate with a lot of tapes, a lot of communication. They've got that ability to read on the fly, which is essential at the fast pace.
Pippen bringing it up against the pressure. Pistons looking to go to the locker room on an optimistic note. Jordan looking to get on the scoreboard in the second, and he does.
That's a zipper screen where they screen from top down on Jordan. He'll pop out and make the jumper. More of a two-guard play.
Corzine, Cartwright, Pippen, Hodges, and Jordan on the floor for Chicago. Thomas, Dumars, Aguirre, Edwards, and Mahorn back there for Detroit. And Aguirre with a nice inside move, muscled his way for the layup.
The play designed for that mismatch. Aguirre had Hodges.
Hodges missing that 3. Now Aguirre rebounding, contributing at both ends, and the Pistons starting to come alive. Dumars sets the three. They let him take it. He misfired. Jordan coming down. Jordan penetrating. Here's Cartwright. Corzine out at the perimeter. Shot clock is at 10.
Cartwright had Isaiah, Brent.
Jordan again from the perimeter is short. Hit iron, fresh 24.
Very alert on the glass. That's one of the reasons that Doug feels his team is better. He gave him a test in Cleveland to talk about the different teams' offense. They were able to concentrate, and they all did very well on it.
Dumars. Time remaining in the first half. 50-34. Corzine. Cartwright with an offensive rebound. Last shot time for the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls spread the floor on offense. Michael gets it back, and at the buzzer fires up a miss, but Chicago takes a 50-34 lead into the locker room. So the Bulls with a big lead, and the Detroit Pistons with the fewest points they have ever scored in a half of a playoff game. Only 34. Chicago was able to hold them at least even in the second period, 17 points apiece. Now we'll see if the Pistons have shaken off their rustiness and are ready to climb back in this one.
Well, Chuck is well regarded, but I think his biggest strength as a coach is his people's skills, how he reaches his players and gets the most out of them. He will be tested this second half. 16
points for Jordan in the first half with 8 rebounds, 4 assists, but he was 1 of 7 shooting in that second quarter. And for Grant, only his second field goal of the game, and that certainly quieted the crowd early when he came out here and banged in Chicago's first shot.
They had to cut across the lane. Nobody played him.
Ship to Mahorn and score it. He'll also come up to the free throw line.
Chuck Daly trying to find somebody to go to. Aguirre, the logical guy here. Great recognition, the slide by Mahorn, who's played well offensively. And, of course, the ability to get 3. I think they'll go to Aguirre continually now until they find some sort of a weakness defensively by Chicago.
11 points from Mahorn. Jordan operating as the point guard. Cartwright, Grant, Pippen, and Hodges. This is Pippen out on top. Drop into Cartwright. Mahorn bodies him. Now Cartwright turns and fires. Lambier with position, and behind him with his 4th foul is Grant.
Well, he can't be a good offensive rebounder. He had 4 at the half if you don't go after it. Excellent first half by Horace Grant.
Corzine will check in at the next dead ball opportunity. He played extremely well for Chicago in the first half. He was 6 of 10. Now it's Thomas, Aguirre, Mahorn. Here's Dumars short into the hands of Pippen. The guards continuing to struggle at the perimeter. Hodges is 3.
We've talked about Michael Jordan picking his shots. He knew the shot by Hodges was going up. He stayed in the backcourt and rested. He picks his shots.
Pistons cannot exchange baskets now. So far behind, they need a run. Foul call by Crawford. Thomas checking with Coach Daly as Corzine has checked into the game. And Paxson will return too.
Now at halftime, both coaches obviously talking about strengths and weaknesses. Chuck Daly, they have a number of plays. The coaches talk about what will work. Let's try some things.
Thomas, and Mahorn has to run it down, battles his way back down the baseline, knocked out of bounds by Chicago.
And they must have heard you saying about Dantley being a factor because they came out looking for Mark Aguirre on the box.
Aguirre throws to Thomas at the top of And Lambier comes out high and gives it back and sets a screen. The three by Isaiah, not there. Chicago's rebound, but there's contact underneath. And the foul is against Detroit. Hold on just a second here.
Ricky Mahorn was applauding. Seldom do you see him doing that to the officials.
So the break goes Detroit's way, and it is the second on Cartwright.
Chicago foul, Bill Cartwright. That's his 17th fourth.
55-37, just underway here in period number 3. Good screen by Lambier. Thomas on the drive, and good defense by Chicago.
What reaction by Paxson. Pick and roll.
The hand perhaps aching just a little bit. This is the first game Isaiah has gone in the playoffs without the wrap. Suffered a broken bone in a fight with Cartwright late in the season.
Sloppy with their passes, their movement. Not typical Pistons basketball.
Thomas fakes Jordan. Lambier with an offensive rebound. Jordan wants Cartwright in lower on the block. Now he's going to give it to him against Mahorn. Off a fake. Mahorn runs the miss down, and here's Thomas. Jordan picks him up. Lambier's three. Look for Jordan. Here he is. Jordan comes to the baseline. Dumars stays with him. Now Jordan into the lane. Can't get the roll. Dumars out. Here's Thomas. Paxson's back. Thomas into him. Off the glass, and the Pistons have battled their way back. This was close to an offensive foul.
Joe Dumars respecting the spiritual leader. Isaiah challenges the defense with the kiss, delivers, but he's the guy that is the personality of this team, and he has not been alive this afternoon.
Going back to the first half, over the last 8 minutes and 45 seconds, the Pistons are off on a 22-9 run against the Bulls. They have taken Jordan off the point, at least for the time being. Mahorn muscling away the miss.
Joe Dumars with the denial once again.
Mahorn pulls the Pistons.
Good job of icing there by Bill Lambier on the pick and roll. Good back cut.
Paxson inside to Cartwright, who was fouled by Thomas.
Brent, maybe the first contact since their altercation where Isaiah hurt himself. And Bill Lambier with a little emphasis there. Of course, Bill Cartwright, an easygoing type, occasionally bangs people innocently. What was it Doug told us about Pippen? Pippen got up from the bench and tripped over Cartwright's bag. And he said, even your bag fouls people.
Foul called at the line.
They've had a violation too. Either way, Tommy Nunez, they let him shoot another. Disbelief. Totally innocent of all charges. Little anticipation.
Didn't step in more than a count and a half early, did he? I thought for a moment he had called a foul, and it was, Bill, you were right, it was simply a lane ball. A 10-point game. Closest the Pistons have been to the Bulls since the opening period.
Little curl play, and then Aguirre with a post up.
Here he is inside, getting at the ball.
Pretty.
Cartwright coming down the middle is fouled.
Sees everything, Brent. That great ability to feel people. He was a long distance from Bill Cartwright, but Michael Jordan responded with a great give back.
Davis checking in for Chicago. Corzine will sit. (57-48). 7:42, third period. Isaiah bouncing from a horn, who has had a field day in low.
Isaiah punishing with the dribble, set it up.
And Mahorn going out, fouls Jordan.
What happened that time, Bill Cartwright took his time getting down the floor. Mahorn could jump out before a play developed and assist.
Pippen, Davis, Paxson, Jordan, and Cartwright, and Thomas almost stole it. Was out of bounds on the far sideline. A different Piston team here in the second half.
Different Isaiah Thomas as well. Invigorated.
Chicago has not scored a field goal in more than 3 minutes. Davis pushing Lambier off.
Davis in the game. He's a physical player, good jump shooter, known to get into a few confrontations. Here, maybe one of the great floppers of all time, Bill Lambier, takes the fall.
Detroit thriving on the inside. They have not added great punch from the outside, and Paxson was shaken up when he was... His arm was locked up by Dumars accidentally and might have strained it a little bit as he was pulled free. That's the third foul on Lambier, and Paxson's fine.
Did you notice the cushion there? They didn't challenge Isaiah in the jump shot, and the defense could help out on Mark Aguirre. Isaiah's going to have to make it if they're going to go to the hot man.
Jordan. Davis puts it back.
Assist. Jordan drew that defense. Little kiss pass.
9-point Chicago lead. 6:40, period 3. In low to Aguirre. He'll come to the free throw line.
He really plays bigger with that wide body than most post-up guys. A three-man who's extraordinary in his scoring abilities down low.
Out of DePaul in Chicago. Was the first pick by the Dallas Mavericks back in '82. Traded from Dallas to the Pistons back in February. Pistons giving up Dantley and their #1 draft choice in '91. Daly believing that Aguirre could be the final piece of the puzzle, as this team battled 7 games before losing to Los Angeles in the finals last year.
And I think he's fit in because of that strength of Lambier, Mahorn, and Isaiah Thomas. Hasn't been a problem, just tried to contribute.
Jordan to Paxson, and the defense aggressively pursuing the ball, and Chicago having trouble finding shooting room now. 5 seconds, and Cartwright creates.
Nice breakdown. Turned and faced. You want your big guy. Challenge the man. Be a threat.
61-52, down toward the 6-minute mark.
Little back screen looking for the mismatch.
And it's Aguirre who traveled that time.
Even that play, they were in a hurry. They didn't create the mismatch they wanted. Davis did a great job of getting back on Aguirre.
An important stretch here for Chicago if they can answer this early challenge. Jordan maneuvering, clears it out, turns on Dumars, couldn't get it to fall. Lambier off with the rebound. Thomas comes up on Paxson. Now they punch in low, and Dumars. Joe Dumars, number 4, doing a fabulous job defensively against Jordan.
Well, this job enables everybody else to play their own man. Here's that little kiss pass I mentioned. Eventually, he will draw somebody other than the man playing him. But Joe Dumars takes so much pride in playing that end of the floor. Makes him a special type of performer.
And Dumars largely responsible for that 1 of 10. But against Michael, it didn't last forever. Dumars sealing him up down low. Jordan coming around a screen, gets him into the paint. Lambier to help out. And great Detroit defense. They come out now with Dumars. Isaiah's on the right. Lambier out on top, over to the left. But they punch into Aguirre. Now they find Lambier out on top. Shot clock winding down toward 5. Dumars left alone. They let him have that shot. Mahorn couldn't put it back. Aguirre goes for it.
Chicago doubling up with Jordan on Aguirre, causing some problems for the Pistons.
And the Pistons now beginning to draw the noose. And it's at this end where they've done the job. Great team defense. Pippen gets Aguirre in the air and hit it with Lambier closing in. That's 6 points for Scottie Pippen.
Mark doesn't like to play anybody that far up the floor.
They get Aguirre low, back to Isaiah, and Lambier will take the 3. It's 63-59, 4 minutes, third period.
The advent of the point center. Guy drifts out, pops out for the long one.
Dumars one-on-one against Jordan. Aguirre eyeing him if he came toward the paint, but he goes baseline, and foul is called as the Pistons are howling that it should be a held ball situation.
Pretty good defensive reaction. The isolation, essentially that play was 2-man with Cartwright underneath. And Michael, as he does so well, waves him out. And I thought this was a pretty good defensive play by Rick Mahorn. But the great one gets a few.
Sally returning. The Bulls have scored only 30 points since the opening period. Ovation is for Mahorn. He'll sit down with the 3 personals.
Now, you followed him from his college days, Brent. I mean, when he was at North Carolina, nobody expected him to be like this.
He was a fine player, but nothing like this.
I just think Dean Smith teaches them the game, and there's a lot more left when they get to that next level.
Davis and Lambier tied up underneath. Goes against Detroit. 5-point Chicago lead. Their biggest lead was 24 points. With 6 minutes to go in the second quarter, Chicago led Detroit 46-22. Now the Pistons have closed back to within 5, and they have done it with great defense.
Pop out.
Here's Jordan.
Simple, just a screen down by Cartwright. Great timing on the pass. If I were Chicago, I would zone up. I know it's not the word to use, but like force him to shoot the outside shot.
Offensive foul called against the Pistons. And that on Aguirre is his second.
The banging that takes place underneath the whole position. You've got to release that head. You can't hold. Mark Aguirre's got the big derriere, so you can use that to post up. Doesn't need the hands.
Brad Sellers seeing his first action for Chicago. Davis, Sellers, Jordan, Paxson, and Pippen. And the technical foul is going to be called against the Detroit bench.
Again, and Chuck looking on. He was hollering, but Mark Aguirre upset on that last call. Joey Crawford asked him to keep quiet, and he didn't.
Michael Jordan, 62.
You know, our problem is we don't change clothes enough during the course of the day, as Daly does. He has more changes than Sure. Always looks sparkly, even when he's upset.
Davis gets it back to Pippen. 2:45, third period. Paxson coming around Sellers, no basket. Foul is called against Chicago.
Chicago foul 22. Charles Davis, that's his fourth.
Number 4 on Davis.
We mentioned his ability to be physical. Empty trip, unfortunately, for Doug Collins and the Bulls.
Dumars has it knocked free by Paxson. Paxson controls. Great steal by Paxson. Sellers top of the circle. Won't fall for him, and Jordan winds up with it.
Sellers had made that one more pass. Michael Jordan was free on the wing.
Jordan spins into the lane and got the shooter's bounce.
Oh, the luggage is on the floor. Great drop step to the middle.
Jordan taking charge here again, and the lead is back to 10. Dumars penetrates, and now it's down to 8. Jordan, great pass off the penetration, and Sally responds with defense, and a foul is called against him.
Now, you were nice enough to ask me on the open how you would play Michael Jordan. I mean, call for help. They ran a pick and roll. He made that great drop step. Then they have the open middle now with a little head and shoulders, same hand move, and the ability to draw the D and dish. You can have him. I'll play somebody else.
Johnson returning for the Pistons. Have not seen much of Rodman.
Not at all. Of course, they need offense.
Continuing to watch from the Piston bench. Played only 11 minutes. It's a 10-point Chicago lead, minute and a half, third period.
Chuck really riding Aguirre.
Sellers and Sally going for the ball, and went out of bounds. It will go over to Chicago. Corzine returning. And at the conclusion of the game, Bill and I will select the Miller Lite Player of the Game, and in conjunction with the award, Light Beer will present a check in the amount of $1,000 in the player's name to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society.
You know what I like about Doug Collins? He hired 2 old-timers, John Bach and Tex Winter, who have seen more basketball than many, many coaches in the league. And they're now giving that outside shot.
Kraft, you know what I like about Doug Collins? He lets Jordan play.
Do you have a choice?
I'd say that. Here with the rebound, and here's Sally. Quickly to Johnson.
Chris Bach had been at Fordham, had the great Eddie Conlon in the late 50s. Later in the NBA with the Warriors.
Aguirre doubled up by Jordan and Sellers. Loose. Got it. Comes inside of Corzine with a good move.
It was not pretty, but effective.
71-63. Down toward the last 30 seconds here of period 3.
Always looking underneath as he uses the pick and roll.
Vision. Pippen. Thomas with a rebound. Last shot time for the Pistons. Crowd counting the seconds off. Isaiah's 3 missed everything. 3 seconds to go now for Chicago. They've got time to get it off. Just short. Lambeer catching the ball in Pippen's face underneath.
And then flipping it at him. Unnecessary.
So Chicago continuing to lead. We'll return to the Palace after this message and a word from your local station. Well, do you think coaching is all million-dollar contracts and new suits and television shows? 7 seconds. Last shot time, and Isaiah misfires. And over on the sideline, with one eye on the clock, Coach Daly says, oh, no. We should have run the clock down further than that. Well, there's the man, Michael Jordan. His brand new pair of Airs, that black look that he put on during the Cleveland series, and now even the coaches over on the sideline. One difference. Michael can afford to give away his after every game, which he does to a local charity.
And Phil can't.
Phil's got to wear his the rest of the way.
Phil Jackson, I don't think I'd wear that on a Saturday night.
Sally out on top. Lambeer with an easy putback.
Right now, Brent, the speed lineup in for the Pistons, a lot of defense, and the spot-up team in for the Bulls.
Difference between these two teams down in the muscle area. Down in that 3-foot zone close to the basket. Corzine has it knocked away, and there's Lambeer. The Pistons have done business offensively and defensively. Rodman lost it. Corzine's got it. That would have sent this crowd off on a high if he'd have hit a jam at that moment.
He fills and generates enthusiasm, Dennis Rodman.
The Pistons have featured the toughest defense in the NBA in the 4th quarter of this playoff. And they're showing more of the same right now. Sally with the block, bounce Rodman. And coming right back was Isaiah.
Scottie Pippen with a great effort. The Bulls did not respond to complement the defense.
It's in the muscle zone where Detroit is starting now to exert itself. Corzine banging away against Sally, trying to get something done underneath. But they must go to the perimeter.
Had to shoot it.
Now Detroit will come up. Look, Rodman inside. It's a difference at both ends of the floor right now. The Detroit defense bringing them back, and they have closed to within 2.
You mentioned muscle, inside defense, part of that. The speed team, the high flyers, John Sally, and Dennis Rodman igniting an area, the fast break area, where they will have to get more baskets out of.
The crowd's ready. Ten minutes to go. Johnson, Rodman, Lambeer, Sally and Thomas on the floor against Grant, who's playing with serious foul trouble. Jordan, Hodges, Pippen, and Corzine for Chicago. Chicago trying to get something out of Corzine. He contributed in the first half. Pippen from the perimeter. And Lambeer with the rebound.
Not really what Doug Collins wanted. They handled the pick and roll well. Pistons reacted, froze it.
Pistons giving away nothing on the inside. Short. Sally with control. Isaiah thought about it momentarily. He almost hoisted the three, thought better of it, and said, no, coach didn't like the last one too well. I think I'll play this one out. Inside, Rodman and Grant were going for it, and the foul is going to go against the Bulls, and that's Grant's 5th. With Cartwright returning.
That's his 5th. The team's first.
One of the reasons why the New York Knicks had better success against Detroit than Chicago is because of Patrick Ewing. You must have the muscle man on the inside. Sally went for the tie. Wouldn't stay down, and Johnson takes it away. The Pistons out hustling the Bulls.
John Sally with a little egg on his face, and he'll hear about that from the tapes. But once again, the curl getting Vinnie Johnson into the middle. The giveaway, pretty good reaction on the second one. But John Sally would like to forget that sequence.
There it comes.
The curl, so effective. Chuck Daly knows where to get his players' shots. That's Vinnie Johnson's area.
Last tied at 4 in the opening period. On the pass in, the foul goes against Detroit.
Brent, I just feel Bill Cartwright has to become the focal point now. It gives Michael Jordan a rest, takes the concentration away from him, and I think Bill Cartwright can ring the bell, particularly with the matchup on Sally.
In the first period, Chicago shot 58%. Since then, they've shot only 31%. Jordan puts it down. Goes for the layup.
In traffic as well. Sally over helping out.
Anytime you've got Michael Jordan on the floor, you've got a chance. He's that good. Johnson skying for the rebound is Sally. Fouled as he tried to put it back.
One thing you have to say about John Sally, he does go after the basketball. Great desire. He has sparked, particularly defensively, the Pistons.
Opening game of the Eastern Conference Championship here in the beautiful Palace, Auburn Hills, Michigan, suburban Detroit. Bill Raftery and Leslie Visser. I'm Brent Musburger. Detroit down by 24 has closed back to within a point.
The more you watch NBA games during the course of the year, the coaches have such a great feel for the length of the game. There isn't panic early when they get behind. Chuck able to ride that poor first half.
Detroit leads. Now it could be some tired Chicago legs that'll try to get them back in this. Pippen.
Great look by Cartwright. Shades of Johnny Carr. Pretty good passer when he was a center in the NBA.
8:05 to go in regulation. Chicago up by a point. Thomas off the bump. He'll step to the line. Isaiah Thomas, who grew up in Chicago along with Mark Aguirre. Left Indiana early, but went back and got a degree in criminal justice. His lowest stats this year since his rookie season. Plagued by injuries, but also there's another reason. It's a more balanced Detroit team right now.
I'm impressed how he's maintained his composure, hasn't forced it. Confrontation with Michael Jordan sometimes makes you do unusual things.
75-74 Chicago. Jordan lulling Vinnie Johnson to sleep momentarily. Pippen's three misfiring, loose. Hodges has got it back. Hodges has been quiet for some time.
Need that inside game, gotten away from it. Cartwright got a nice bounce pass basket for them last trip.
Screening down low, but the Pistons are still keeping Chicago at the perimeter. Now Jordan will try to do it alone. Put him on the line.
The man is extraordinary. Vinnie Johnson looking on in disbelief. Pretty good defensive position, but his ability to bounce to ecstasy and kick it off to the wing for the three-pointer or take it himself.
78-74, 7:26. Chicago up by 4. Johnson, Thomas, Lambier, Rodman, and Saleh against Cartwright, Grant, Jordan, Hodges, and Pippen. This is Thomas's 3. Lambier with an offensive putback.
The pick and roll, the switch, Hodges on Lambier. They did not go to him, but offensive rebounding position by Bill Lambier over Hodges. Well-designed play.
The lead is 2. Jordan down the baseline. Foul is called underneath. No one is better at getting to the free throw line than Michael Jordan. And that's one way that Chicago can hold on here against a scrambling Detroit. We'll be right back. Six minutes and 54 seconds to go here in the 4th period. 78-76. Chicago and Michael Jordan ahead by 2 points. Jordan for the afternoon, 27 points, and he's 5 of 7 at the free throw line. He also is changing the style of basketball trunks. They are specially tailored 2.5 inches longer than the normal trunk, and underneath he wears a pair of blue North Carolina gym shorts.
What information. I spoke to his dad the other night in Chicago about his days at North Carolina. Billy Guthridge, a good friend who's Dean's assistant. But he's very active in charities in Chicago, one of them a golf outing, as you know. And in asking Chuck Daly, does he have any weaknesses? He said, yeah, in his golf swing. Right. That's the only weakness he has.
I showed up expecting a scramble. They said it's a best ball. Michael doesn't like scrambles. We do whatever Michael wants to do.
Next stop.
80-76, and that's about the way he plays basketball.
Watch out, Dean Beeman.
6:48 to go in regulation. Chicago with a 4-point lead and a chance to steal number 1. Vinnie Johnson coming inside. Rodman stays with it. Great block by Pippen, but it was too good. The foul is called. That's number 3.
The Daly philosophy right now. Vinnie Johnson on a tear, empty the backside, let him take his man.
5th team foul against Chicago. 2 shots for Rodman.
On this clear out, Dennis Rodman and John Sally and others can concentrate as the help comes to get good inside offensive position. So give that little sequence to Vinnie Johnson.
Lost it out of bounds. 6.5 minutes. Into Cartwright. Lambier gave him a lot of room.
Oh, I thought he could have got to the goal a little bit.
Cartwright said, I can't believe it. This Faralloni almost double clutched on the shot when he turned around. 82-77 now. 6:15. Johnson wants it back to Thomas. High off the glass and a putback by Isaiah. Cartwright winds up with the rebound. Off into the hands of Hodges. Lead Pippen. Here's Hodges' 3. Tap to Rodman.
They ran a little single double for Vinnie Johnson. They got the ball in his hands now at the point.
Johnson bangs it in. 82-79, 5:47.
With Michael Jordan as the point guard, you can't help out as much with traps. That's the problem.
Oh, coming inside, offensive foul is the call.
And some sarcasm in the applause.
Dumars has returned, and he has done the best individual defensive job on Jordan so far this afternoon. 82-79 with 5:28 to go. Isaiah sits, then he works in the backcourt with him. Lambier and Rodman are up front still, along with Sally, and it's Rodman operating a great offensive rebounder, taken down at the end line, and now punches exchanged.
Brent, it's always the other guys. The players involved held on to one another. Nobody was injured. Everybody else has to come in and have a vote. Again, the little curl by Vinnie Johnson set this all up. And right here, no question about the giveaway. Davis trying to hold on initially. a very strong foul. And the sheriff, Bill Lambier, appears.
It's actually more of a shove by Lambier with the left hand than anything else. Davis, assessed his 5th personal, sits down. He did have a stranglehold on Rodman. There was no doubt about it when he was taking him down there at the end line. And Rodman pulls the Pistons back to within 1. We're at the 5-minute mark. Can Michael do it again?
And your call, Rodman now on Michael Jordan.
And he steps right inside him. Missed his first shot against Rodman. Grant dug it out. They work at the perimeter, and Pippen will try it. And the foul is called against Detroit.
Scottie Pippen got away with some bad judgment. They had a new clock, could have run a nice set. Very fortunate to step or get the call.
That's the 4th against Sally. And Pippen moving up to the free throw line.
And talking to Dennis Rodman about the idea of playing Michael Jordan, he said he's the toughest guy for him in the league, but he's excited about the opportunity to play him. Very tough for him to backpedal on Michael Jordan's penetration.
Three-point Chicago lead inside of 5 minutes. Dumars, Lambier, Rodman, Sally, and Vinnie Johnson with the ball. Dumars. Pippen yanking it away, and the foul is against Detroit.
Lambier and Pippen now having a discussion. So much of basketball is driving and drawing the defense and then kicking it to the open jump shooter. Detroit is not making those spot-up jump shots, and in effect, it has gotten them in some difficulty.
This is the first game of a best-of-7 conference championship, and giving indication that it's going to be a very physical, tough war before it's over between these two teams. Shot that one too hard. Aguirre will replace Sally. No, it's going to be Dumars who will head out and sit down too. So as Isaiah comes in, he replaces Dumars, and Sally checks out in favor of Aguirre.
That's that luxury of having Rodman out there. The 3-man Rodman playing the point guard, Michael Jordan.
Costly misses by Chicago. Bulls are up by 3. Lambier. Pippen. Pippen almost made a critical error. Finally got it to Jordan, who weaves his way in. Couldn't get the call. Went up over the top of the glass. Goes over to the Pistons.
Most other players would have fallen on the ground.
And Aguirre shaken up perhaps a bit. So a 20-second timeout being taken by the Pistons.
The war of words between these two teams as they continue to play. A lot of pushing, a lot of woofing.
84-81. Chicago over Detroit. Down toward the 4:10 mark. Aguirre staying in the game along with Thomas. Rodman still there. Pippen rebounding again. It's Hodges, now Jordan, Cartwright, and Grant. They haven't got a lot of offensive production out of Grant or Pippen here this afternoon. Cartwright wanting it in low on Aguirre. Sends it back to Pippen, and it's Hodges. Hit the 3.
That's what's made them a better team. Inside to Cartwright. Back out and kick it to the spot-up man as the defense had collapsed.
Now the lead is 6, 87-81. Johnson. 87-83.
He had been going right. That time went left with the kiss. Pretty good read by Vin Johnson.
Offensive foul on the inside. And that will end the afternoon for Grant.
That's his 6th.
He scored only 4 points, but he pulled down 9 rebounds. And he's going to be sorely needed by Doug Collins before this series is over.
Great offensive rebounder. Of course, that time, the motion on the pick. I mean, they'll permit you to move that hip a little bit, but you can't move a full space.
Davis checking into the game with 5 fouls. So he replaces him. It's a 4-point Chicago lead at the 3-minute mark in regulation. Johnson coming around the screen. They punch in low. Going for it was Aguirre, and the ball was tied up as Davis went scrambling to the floor along with Aguirre.
You have to be impressed with the defense of the Bulls. Given the outside shot, given that cushion to help out inside. That time Robin with a great cut. Defense presented itself beautifully.
Hit out by Lambier. Johnson runs it down.
Pick and roll.
Cartwright has jumped out. Isaiah comes around with Cartwright hounding him. Now the quicker Isaiah, rejected by Pippen. Johnson goes diving, and so does Chicago. And that's the 4th foul on Pippen. Chicago already over the limit. Detroit will be at the line when we come back. Here are the Detroit Pistons trail the Chicago Bulls by 4, 87-83. 2 minutes and 39 seconds left in regulation. Chicago encountering a little foul trouble, Bill.
And you look at that bench, and you got to figure Corzine, who on cue steps up. And you may think of Sellers or Will Perdue if they get any more problems with Davis.
And Thomas coming to the free throw line.
Doug, of course, on the sideline shouting instructions. He said with the first year he used to say we to the players. We have to do this better. Now he says you. Individually, they balloon.
Corzine yanked away that missed free throw. 3-point Chicago lead. Isaiah still without that great shooting touch that he can show. Punch to Jordan in low. And he traveled.
Heck of a catch in traffic. One of the few times he'll lose his balance.
Johnson off iron. Jordan grabs it and brings it to the attack. Lead for Pippen. Dangerous. Thomas going for it, and he hit Pippen.
Tough one. At the other end, BJ shot a little bit quick, started that break. I don't know about that one, Isaiah. Or good reaction here. I can't blame her being upset.
It was a gamble on Jordan's part, but it certainly paid off in the end as Isaiah closed and there was contact, putting Pippen at the free throw line. And his first free throw put them back up by 4. So that's 12 for the afternoon for Pippen, and it's a 5-point lead at the 2-minute mark. So Doug Collins in Chicago with what they wanted, a chance to get one here in Detroit. Lambier will take the 3. Not this time, and underneath contact.
Got Michael Jordan involved in that. That pop-out play, Lambier unable to convert, caused the long rebound, but all the big bodies banging Mahorn and company, and Michael tagged with it.
inside at 2 minutes now at 1:51. Chicago, in case you joined us a little late, Chicago built a huge lead on the rusty Pistons. They're up by 24 in the opening half before Detroit finally settled in. Rick Mahorn, who hit that free throw, played very well. Really was the most impressive Piston in the early going. Held his own on the interior. But now they'll have to stop Michael Jordan here. 89-86.
This is where I like him, at the point with Rodman guarding him. Will pop out.
Pop out, Rodman tightening up on him. Jordan faked, came back for daylight, couldn't get it to fall, but Pippen with an offensive rebound and a huge basket. That's a 5-point lead with a minute and a half to go. That's the biggest field goal to this point. Now it's Thomas coming back, and he is mugged on the penetration.
Hodges stepped up beautifully. The other end, Michael Jordan, of course, good shot, offensive position, but down this end, right here, I think Isaiah a little over penetration, of course, from the rear, stripped as Hodges stepped up.
Well, the Bulls went to Cleveland, took away the home court advantage, did it in Madison Square Garden. Trying now to do it here a third straight time. And this against the top-seeded Pistons with Dumars replacing Johnson.
See that defensive switch now with Joe in. He'll probably step on a Michael Jordan. Rodman stepping on, pick up one of the big guys. Got to stay with it. Rodman on Jordan.
They're going to keep a taller Rodman on him. It's a 3-point Chicago lead. Jordan popping out, and Rodman's right there with him. Now he backs off a few feet, watching his eyes. Jordan with the fake, staying in the lane. He's going to give it up to Cartwright. 3 on the shot. Cartwright up high on the glass, and a foul going to be called against Chicago. 4 on Cartwright.
Great team stepping up. That defensive sequence, extraordinary. In the sense of Rodman denying the ball all the way out to half court. Now the positioning, the moving of the feet. And on the dish off, Cartwright unable to get a good shot and the charge.
Final minute of regulation. Chicago over Detroit, 91-88.
Rise to the occasion, running back, your Detroit Pistons.
So after rolling through the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks, the Detroit Pistons have finally found someone who has stood up to them into the last few minutes of a game. With a minute to go, they're trailing it by 3.
Vinny on a curl. Johnson.
Dish inside Mahorn, didn't get the foul. I should say didn't get the field goal on the foul. That's what I meant. It wouldn't fall for him.
He's upset. Pretty plain. Well designed. I'm sure Doug knew they would go to Johnson, but you still have to execute. Even if the team knows what you're running, you do it right, you can get free.
You know, Mahorn has already tied his playoff high in this game with 17. Dumars returning for defensive reasons, and Johnson leaves.
When the Bulls get the ball, Brent, I think they should go to Cartwright, let him touch it. Michael with some penetration has been kicking to the wings. I think they go in and then back out. They've got a better shot.
Misfired on the free throws. Left Detroit down by 3, and here's Jordan at the 52nd mark. And that may have forced the Pistons into going for a 3 here late in this sequence with those missed free throws. We'll see. Good tight defense outside on Pippen. Shot clock inside of 5. And a timeout has been called. So the Bulls call the timeout when they're in trouble.
20 seconds with 4 on the clock, and that's a tribute to the denial, particularly of Rodman on Michael Jordan as he attempted to get free. Now on the inbound, you've got to pressure it, make it a tough pass, and it's got to be a quick hitter. Screen down, get the man to make his move, catch it.
Interesting where Doug Collins brought this huddle. Out away from the sideline on the bench. No one can hear what he is calling right now.
Only one guy has to hear. Michael.
Well, we got to have an option up of Michael anyway, don't we?
Well, they better. Now the key is how they set up their screen. Remember, Jordan got free against the Knicks, caught it, and made a penetrating dribble move.
4 seconds. It'll be Cartwright. They'll have to hurry. Great defense that time by Mahorn, and the 24-second clock expires. 30 seconds to go now in the game. Detroit is down by 3, and you have the option. Go for the quick 2 and set the defense and hope to get the foul, or hoist the 3 up. What are your thoughts here?
I think they should go down, try and get the quick shot, challenge the glass, get the deuce. They can always give a foul to somebody and get another opportunity.
All right, Bill, we'll come back and see what happens in just a moment. "32 seconds remain. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Championship, the Chicago Bulls and the Detroit Pistons. The Bulls battled their way here through a 6-game series against the New York Knicks. And they were a huge underdog. It was like about 9 points coming into this game.
Chuck Daly put a play in. It's a play he's run, motion, but they've stepped it out higher on the floor because teams were banging Vinnie Johnson out of bounds on the baseline. If they don't run the pick and roll, you might look running, getting a single screen on one side and a double on the other.
No, the option here. Detroit has not been good from three-point land, and that's what they trail. So they could go for the quick 2, hope to draw the foul along with it, then set the defense. We'll see what happens. Rodman will take the ball out of bounds, and Thomas jumps out, but they drop to Lambier. They wanted to go back to Rodman, and he was covered beautifully by Pippen. Now it is Johnson, and as he comes around, it's going to be called against Detroit.
Mahorn with the down screen, and you've got to get a shot.
Now, they're going to get the ball back. 29 seconds when they took it out of bounds. Desperately needing a stop here. Jordan trying to draw the foul. Rodman over on him. Jordan wants to go to the line. He keeps it on the dribble. Rodman not putting him on the line. And now underneath, finally the whistle sounds at the 18-second mark.
Now you want to play this game, you better learn how to dribble. Michael Jordan kept it away, ran the clock down. Chuck Daly wanted the foul much sooner. Rodman trying to give it, no call.
And Michael was not about to give it up. "30 points.
Just another day at the office.
And the Pistons about to lose for the first time in the playoffs. They still have 18 seconds to go. And it's 93-88. Now they'll need the quick 3, using their last timeout. So they must set their final strategy for 18 seconds, and we'll be right back. Well, underneath the basket right now is Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Brent, Doug Collins just gave out the defensive assignments. He wants his players to be particularly careful of watching Lambier go for a 3-pointer. In a good-natured gesture, Jack Haley turned to Craig Hodges and said, "Hey, Craig, don't foul the 3-point shooter." Right?
That's terrific.
A reference to the other night at the Chicago Stadium when Trent Tucker brought New York alive. What a moment that was. 4-point play, but then Michael kept it. Doug told him to, because he said they're going to put you on the line at the other end, and he called that right. It's
an obvious 3 situation, which means you might get an easy deuce quickly by going inside.
No, great defense by Michael Jordan this afternoon. It's Isaiah who's going to take it on Pippen. Short, banged into the hands of Paxson, and now the Bulls are going to take the home court advantage. Thomas wraps up Michael Jordan, but listen to this statistic. With that miss, Dumars, Johnson, and Thomas were 11 of 45 from the field. That's around 25% here this afternoon with the trio of outstanding guards.
And they are the envy of most teams in the NBA for their ability, and Doug Collins addressed it last night, to maneuver these 3 great players. So quite a letdown for Chuck Daly.
So the Bulls went into Madison Square Garden. They were down by 12 points late in that game, and they managed to come back. You could see the crowd just pouring out of here with 11 seconds to go. It is unbelievable what Michael Jordan is accomplishing in this great playoff run with the Chicago Bulls. And here he is bringing the clock down. The Bulls have won the first game.